first of all, I want to address my hat because I know some people probably looked at it real fast. Like, does that say what I think it does? Yes, it does. And it's very relevant for what we're talking about tonight because we grew up in the times where people could say whatever the hell they wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where they was at, any venue, any setting. It was, freedom of speech. I say what I want to. If you think it's funny, great. If you don't think it's funny, move on. You know what I'm saying? If you were shocked by it, then just put a sticker on my shit and don't buy it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I grew up. But that has a lot to do with what we're talking about today, which is cancel culture. The way y'all move now. Is when people say things and do things that people don't like now, they choose to not just make the personal decision to say, I don't want to fuck with it. They choose, it's a whole culture now where everyone has to get on board to not like each other. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is cancel culture, kind of get into some of the people who were canceled. I don't know if they're canceled or not. We're going to talk about that.
It kind of comes in waves.
Yeah, I don't know. The attempted cancels, the potential cancels, the people who should be canceled. We just going to get into that. So make sure y'all get your comments in below. Let us know who you think should be canceled. Make sure y'all, chime in. Let us know.
Let's go! I've been there, I've done that. Hey, but what do I know? I wrote this and won that. Oh, but what do I know? I got degrees and went to schooling. But what do I know? Goodbye backstabbers and Judases. But what do I know? I've been out here, man, I've been doing this. Let's get to the dough. I've been showing it, I've been proving it. I'm ready to go. Discuss the what, whys, and who did it. Let's get to the show. This podcast just might be the go. Oh, but what do I know?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Do I Know podcast. It's your girl, Rukus.
And your boy, Trey Smith. And just when you thought they was done talking about men and their behavior and their penises, Derek Jackson showed up in the world again to do some more stupid shit, according to his ex-wife. See, I have been telling y'all for several years, Derek Jackson is full of shit. And sure enough, his wife, she confirmed what I have been saying for several years, which is, that nigga is talking about stuff that I'm 100% sure he did. And of course she said he did all these things. And I'm tell you what's the coolest part about it, Ruckus. This nigga was in the same house with his wife upstairs. And instead of going down to have a talk with her, text messaged her and said, I would like a divorce. You a cold nigga, Derek. You a cold nigga. So just remember, ladies, if you want to avoid a nigga like Derek Jackson, take advice from internet Derek Jackson, not real life Derek Jackson. We can get to the rest of the show, though.
Again, I'm speechless, and I love Trey's intros because they're like they typically have nothing to do with what we're talking about, so it just takes me a second to be like, I can't bring that in. There's no way I can rope that in. I can't do anything with that. Our guest is confused. All right. Anyways, like, what the hell are we talking about? All right. So, guys, last week, he's talking about the weenie roast for those who missed it. As far as us just talking about males' private parts and whatnot, we did. We had a whole show where we discussed men in general, and it was not positive, and we enjoyed it. And I think it's something that's very necessary. And I'm probably going to start a group for it on Facebook, but I need y'all to let me know whether or not there's a demand for that. But I might just start the Weenie Roast group where that's all we do is talk shit about dudes. We don't want to hear your positivity. That's not what the group is for. We'll talk more about that some other time. Anyways, I'm waiting for them to clap back. I'm afraid of their clapback show. This is going to be terrible. But anyways, we are joined today by Kaj Barber. Yes, Kajatani also is what I also know her as, right?
Yes,
correct?
I love the way you say it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. She's a Renaissance woman in the community, guys. Like, this woman, she does everything. When I say everything, I mean she paints, she welds, she's bees. Like it doesn't get any. When you say somebody keeps bees like that, she does everything. And so, but the reason she's here today is because her post actually inspired this whole show. Trey and I were literally talking about what we were going to have a show about that we didn't know, and her post came up almost immediately thereafter. And when I read her post, I was like, that's it. We're about to do a whole show about this. And the post is people who condone or dismiss the behavior of their offspring baffle me. like you the reason they are the way they are. And so when I look at that, I'm like, that's something we never really look at with our kids. I kind of want to talk about the kids that are fucking up and whether or not it really is our fault as parents. So that's kind of something that we are not really accountable for. We try to ignore that a little bit, and we do pass the blame for a lot of things that I think we should be accountable for. And we're going to talk about it more today. Somebody's going to be mad. Somebody is going to watch this show and be offended as shit. And when you are, please comment below. Let us know how you feeling so that we can address that and whatnot. Chime in, call in. There's a number that you can let us know how you feel, because I'm sure we're going to step on some toes on today. So today we talking about, but what do I know about blaming the parents? So with that being said, upbringing, let's talk about that. Do you think upbringing has a lot of influence on the way you raise your children? Your upbringing and the way you raise your children?
Most certainly. The reason why I say this is because for me, I make an exception to every situation rule there is. I raised myself. I didn't have adults to be like, hey, don't do that, or, give you those morals. So for me, I was like, I don't want to raise my kids to be not shit people. So I gave them morals and values. So yeah, my upbringing or lack thereof definitely shaped the way I raised my kids. And I have 4 biologically and 3 stepchildren. So we got 7 kids. We got a wide spectrum of, like different personalities. Yeah.
Right. 7. Jeez. Like, I just want to...
6 boys, 1 girl.
Thank you for that. I was wondering, and who's the oldest?
The oldest is a boy.
Okay.
28.
Is the girl the youngest?
No, our youngest is a boy also. The girl is kind of in the middle. So it's like 28, 25, a 22, a 21, a 20, and an 18.
So they're all grown.
All grown.
Empty nest.
Yes.
Okay, that's what's up. Sorry. So, but What Do I Know podcast, we like to bring subject matter experts on here to kind of talk to us a little bit. So in case you want to know why this woman is qualified to have this discussion with us today, she has raised 7 children, and they're out of her home. So she can weigh in on that. I have 2. They're still in my house. I'm struggling. So I will definitely be listening to some advice and whatnot on what we're dealing with today. But Trey, you upbringing, does that impact how you raise your child, the way you were raised?
No. I mean, to an extent. I think just because for me it was more of a deal where growing up in Park Hill and some of the things that you see so young that you probably shouldn't be exposed to. I knew, like, if I can avoid my kid seeing those things, then, I would like for him to, have it as easy as he can. I know he's going to experience his own little thing in the world, but, there are some things that I saw early on that I'm like, I don't ever want my child to see no shit like this. So,
facts.
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of how mine is, half and half. Mine is the first half when I was with my mom. That's the part that I will never make. I got to make sure my kids never, ever, 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 ever see that side of life. And as far as the rest of it with my grandparents, that's what they need. That is ideal. That is what I need to make sure to strive that they see every day, as far as the stability and the structure of what I grew up with once I got with my grandparents. So there's a mix of it. Part of it is me doing everything opposite of what I saw, just to make sure I don't follow the path of my parents. And then the rest is trying to emulate pretty much everything I saw in regards to my grandparents. And that's a gift and a curse, because my grandma was raw dog. I was raised by a Southern grandmother. So that means I raised mine Southern grandma style. So we're going to talk about that in a little while, because, as far as, Spirit of Rod, like as far as lessons learned, Spirit of Rod spoiled a child. We come from a family of ministers and church goers and whatnot, so we were heavy on the word, especially Spirit of Rod. But my grandma had no problem knocking the shit out of us, as far as making sure that we were in submission and following in line and doing the things that we were supposed to do. So we were kids who were we were unruly a little bit. We did regular kid shit, but we were by no means, we were outright afraid to do. We were outright afraid to do the things that kids get away with nowadays. So again, I raised mine like I was raised. Mm-hmm. So
I put the fear of me in my children as well. Again, because I didn't have that. Like, it was 12, 15 kids, and I was raised, at my grandma's house. So all of her kids' kids lived there. So it was kind of like there's an adult, overseeing all these children, but we just did whatever. And I grew up in Park Hill too. Mm-hmm. And, this was the era of just being before the street lights come on. So whatever you did outside all day, you was left to your own, imagination. So we was all up and down. And as long as we was home before the street lights, then you was free to do whatever you wanted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
True.
The part that scared the shit out of me as a child was, growing up in Park Hill, when there was a point in time you could just go up to one of the parks and get quoted on a hood. And, my parents very blunt and forwardly were like, you can go your ass up there to Cherry Park and get quoted if you want to, nigga. I'll kill you before these niggas do. And that idea of my parents will kill me sat with me like, oh no, I don't want to die. Not like this.
I mean,
that's what I told my kids too.
Nowadays, it's people that argue though, I want my kids' respect. I'd rather have my child's respect than them fear me. And it's like, fear and respect to me go hand in hand. You know what I mean? It's like you really don't respect something that you're not afraid of just a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't really have it. I don't have my daughter where she's afraid of me, but she sure as hell fears the consequences of either my disappointment or I just train her what's going on in the actual world. My daughter knows. I don't just tell my daughter, hey, I don't want you out there drinking behind my back. It's none of that. It's I don't want you drinking because in this world, a drunk girl gets assaulted. A drunk girl gets taken advantage of in several ways. A drunk girl anything can happen to you in this society. And unless you're ready to deal with the consequences of possible for life sexual transmitted diseases or a child that you may have to raise from some kind of experience from you just wanting to go throw one back just because for shits and giggles, then I strongly suggest that you don't do that. So my daughter is raised to respect me, but also to fear the real life consequences of not doing what I asked her to do. So
I thought that up until recently about my son, and I could say because he's my son, I don't care what nobody thinks. Little nigga broke my TV stand because he was mad at a video game. He broke the drawer on the TV stand because he was mad at a video game. I thought he respected me until I get a text while I'm out. He knows not to answer the door or whatever. And this is how he fucked himself up. Dad, you ain't gonna believe this. I was trying to let the dog out. He got a little crazy, broke the damn drawer off. And that's where I caught him right there. I was like, so why are you letting the dog out when I told you don't open the door when I'm just, running somewhere real quick? That's where he fucked himself up. So as soon as I walked in the door, I'm like, yeah, so you want to tell me what really happened? He told me he got pissed off at the game. And I thought he respected me enough to not tear up my shit that he ain't got no money to replace. He won, he won.
I don't know, because in his I know him, and he's so passionate about his games and you have encouraged this behavior, and you, sir, as she said, the things you condone and the things that you instill in him, you have condoned this passion behind these games. And so yes, when he acts passionate about it, and it's like, I don't think he really thought that's my dad's shit, I'm about to tear it up. I think it was really something that if he didn't respect you, he would have lied again to your face about what happened to the game. He would have still persisted to drive that story forward about the dog and would have said whatever he could have said and that would have been a disrespectful thing, I think.
And see, I wouldn't have went left on him had he, you know what, he could have came to me and been like, yeah, Dad, I fucked up. Yeah, so what happened? I'd have still told him, like, you getting mad at the game is dumb as shit. If you lose and take a break. Then maybe it's just because me, I'm 40. I've been playing video games since I was about 6, 7, whenever the Nintendo came out or whatever. But I've been playing long enough that I ain't broke nothing.
Right, and you would have lied though. And the young you would have made up an immediate story for why this is destroyed because fuck,
You
That's
have two
down.
boys?
I just have the one boy.
Oh, just one boy.
I think you would
I
like.
just went to bed. I was terrified to lie to my mom and dad because my mother, she wasn't about whoopings. They was about you getting your chest caved in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a whole different punishment. So I was terrified. I'd have just went to bed and acted like I didn't know what the fuck happened. I still got my ass whooped.
I'm like, that's the whoop out of your sleep. That's the worst whooping there is. Get woke up out of your sleep. The what the fuck? The walk in and just hear somebody notice something that happened and hear the footsteps get closer to your door and watch the doorknob turn and open and
What the fuck happened to my TV stand? Huh? Oh, my ass.
So having 6 boys, trust me, I done heard some stories, some crazy stories. And with my twins, they are completely different personalities, like completely different. So the oldest twin, he's 10 minutes older. He is more passive and I don't know, like he's just like whatever. Whereas the younger twin, he's an asshole and he did the craziest things growing up, like tore up shit just because he wanted to know how it worked. So one particular time, I'm thinking I'm about to get cute and go to the club. I bought me some new weave. I go to open it and unravel it. He done cut my damn ponytail in about 30 different lengths. And I'm thinking that I'm about to be fly, okay? So they in the bathtub getting ready to go to bed. So not only am I heated that my ponytail is chopped up like chop suey, I go in there and he got one eyebrow and his tongue is bleeding. So I'm like, what in the ever-loving hell happened? And the more docile twin is just sitting there like, I don't know. And then the one bleeding, I'm like, what happened? And he's like, it was just like this. I gave birth to you, child. That is not how you were birthed.
Like this.
And that's not how you were when I put you in the tub.
Can we mutually agree as a parent that shit right there will piss you off of me?
Pissed me off.
It was just like that.
So I'm like, do I go off over the weave that I don't get to wear right now? Or the fact that his eyebrow is gone. So I need to address the situation at hand. His mouth is bleeding. Why is your mouth bleeding? He tried to shave his tongue. And I'm like, okay, I am very open with my kids. I don't sugarcoat anything. So my thing is, what the fuck did your dumb ass just do? Why did you shave your tongue? It had hair on it. It's not hair, child. So I'm like, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong with this child? Because I know well, somewhere along his life, I said, do not touch this. It's not for play.
Yeah, I don't know. The curiosity though is healthy. You know what I mean? That's cool when we start looking at stuff.
He's the only one that did dumbass shit though.
Out of 7, you're lucky. Out of 7, you're lucky you got one.
There's 2. There's 2.
Still, the odds are still in your favor. Because there's some people that got 2 for 2 on bullshit ass kids. And it doesn't matter. They don't have a good one. I'm not going to start naming your kids nowadays, but you know people whose kids just, they ain't shit. And you don't understand what is going on. And it's partially you're looking at them like, y'all need to make some changes. They're not making the changes. They absolutely refuse. And so this show is more to address those whose children are outright dangerous or doing things in society that are frowned upon, and the parents that look the other way. Cutting your eyebrow off, that's like a rite of passage. I think that's I mean, I guess boys cut their eyebrows. Like girls go cut their hair in the bathroom.
The eyebrow thing, but the tongue,
girls, that's
in my weave. I mean, I'm still salty about that. Like 20 years later.
So the dumb shit me and my sister did, you know what I'm saying? And my mama's still mad to this day. You know what I'm saying? She paid for the people to come out. We lived in the projects when we was younger, and the people came to do the insulation, and they took all the time to put all the caulk in all the windows and go around the whole thing and went through every single window in the home. Do you know me and my sister went through there right as soon as they left and picked that shit out with some plastic knives and pulled it all the way down and made spaghetti?
Shit. I think we did that too.
Oh, my mama was never. She never has let us live that down to this day. She's still mad to this day that she paid all that. And so I'm just saying, kids do dumb shit. Like it's just We watched him put it there. She sat there, but at the same time, where was you at? My mom sat there and watched us watch this dude put this shit everywhere. Of course we're going to be curious. Of course we're going to go pick at it because we just saw him do it. She didn't warn me. She didn't say, hey, don't pick that out. Don't touch it. And so with that being said, there's accountability there for what happened. Yes, as kids, we did some dumb shit, but the accountability lies that the adult left us unsupervised with a bunch of shit that we didn't know what it was in a curious state and did not actually warn us not to touch it or not to do anything. We didn't see that there was even a consequence for that. So I think it comes back to, again, there was no establishment there that there was a consequence for touching that. Ergo, spaghetti all day. Spaghetti all day.
That makes sense. So in a situation where, the kid is unruly and just flat out just bad, I feel like it's a duality to it, because I have one that was a little rambunctious for a great deal of time. And for us as parents, we addressed it. Like, we'll call you out on your shit. I don't care what you're doing. I don't allow any of my children to not be held accountable for their actions. I don't care how wrong they are. I don't care. I'm not trying to save face for my children, because at the end of the day, what you're doing, it's going to fall back on me. Even though we all got free will, everyone's going to be looking like, what are you doing as a parent? So for the ones that were unruly, this instance, my twin, he kicked a hole in the wall at school because he was upset. So the teacher's calling me, and I'm like, did you think that I was just going to let this just go? So they're like, well, what should we do? Should we suspend him? I'm like, no, hell no. He has money. I'm going to take him to the hardware store. He's going to buy the stuff to repair this. You make his ass fix it, because he did it and he knows better. Nobody's going to cover up for what he did. And as his parent, I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry. What do you want me to do? No, nigga, you have two choices. You can fix this, or I'm going to whoop your ass at school.
Both.
Period.
Both.
Like, you did this bullshit. Nobody told you to do this. You were raised better than this. You can't do it at home. So why are you doing it in public?
So spare the rod, spoil the child. So a lot of people who, as far as abuse, consider raising your voice at your child or yelling at your child is considered abuse.
Toxic now.
Pretty much they feel like you and your child need to have a discussion, kind of like a man-to-man, a woman-to-woman thing. Like again, I am Ruby Nail's granddaughter. I will never talk to my daughter as though
You're not a gentle parent?
Hey, my daughter, I respect my child, but at the same time, she is still in the place of a child. Mm-hmm. I will never have a conversation with my daughter where she feels she has equal say in whatever we're talking about. Like when she's grown in her own house, in her own, all that. But as long as, again, I'm Ruby Nails, so as long as she's under my roof and I'm responsible ultimately for every decision she makes, then she will never be able to sit down and tell me with an equal say, this is what I'm this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'll definitely hear her say, but I'll be damned if it's equal. Not yet. And she's still her own person for sure. And I think the parents who actually are doing that is kind of the problem. Like, and I'm willing to face the flack for it, take all the smoke for that. For those who sit there and chop it up like, yeah, you know what I mean? That's my daughter, and we gonna chop it because she's a person and she can decide what she wants to know.
Yeah, she is a person, but at the same time, it's like you said, we will never be equals. I got grown-ass kids. I still will go to their house and whoop their ass if I have to. Like, what you not about to be doing is running around here looking like I didn't do what I was supposed to do as a person.
Right.
So if I need to intervene and be like, I am 42 years old. His mom just called me today and was like, excuse me, young lady, don't be posting stuff like that on Facebook. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to take it down. I will not do it again. It doesn't matter what age you get, because you will never be equal to your parents. And because I had kids when I was young, automatically a couple of them is like, well, you're only this much older than me. I don't give two flying fucks. Something that came out of me is not going to think that we the same. Like, I gave birth to you. You didn't give birth to me. I've lived here without you.
Yeah.
You have never lived here without me.
So they were like,
So we ain't gonna never be equal.
Yeah.
give them choices. Your child is talk to your child like they're a person and give them choices. Your choices are
either you act right or I'm gonna fuck you up.
or you'll beat that ass
That's
or go
it.
somewhere else where they'll allow you to do this bullshit if it's really that important to you to do it. Because again,
And I'm still gonna tell you what to do.
hey, my grandma, my grandma raised some of the dopest people on this earth. Like, y'all know them, y'all love them. Like, those are products of the upbringing that we had. So I mean, I see no problems. I see no flaws in any of that. So I'm gonna definitely emulate everything I saw. We got nothing but scholars and doctors and our family is awesome, and it's all because Ruby Nail is not playing, and she instilled that in all of us. Like, don't go out here acting crazy. Like basically, we know that there are consequences in life, and I think a lot of people, there's too many conversations being had. Again, people are trying to earn the respect as your children as a friend, instead of as an actual as a authoritative figure,
as a guide, because that's what we are as parents. Like, I tell my kids, it's inevitable that you are going to fuck your kid up in some way. It is inevitable. Every parent is going to fuck their kid up in some way, because there's no guidebook to be a parent in any aspect. Like, I've never been a parent to a 28-year-old. So I'm still going to do something that is going to mess him up. And I've explained this to them. I do my best as a parent, and I tell you what I feel you need to know and hear at this point in our lives. Today is not going to be the same as tomorrow, and it won't be the same as yesterday. I wasn't the same parent I was yesterday, and I won't be the same parent tomorrow. So I may say some shit that may not work for the next, 10 days, 10 years, or whatever. But in this moment right now, what's happening right now is what we have to address in life.
Right.
Did you?
Go ahead.
Did you grow up in a two parent household? One parent, two parents?
I had no parents. I grew up with my grandmother. Yeah.
I was in a 2-parent household all the way up until I was about 6 or 7 years old when they separated, and then it never felt any different because they, even up before my father passed, I would joke with them all the time, like, y'all argue like y'all still married and shit. But they spent their whole lives looking out for one another, so it never really felt like I was in 2 different households at any point in time. So
they worked well together.
Yeah.
When it came to parenting.
Yeah, they had their moments. They definitely had their moments, and I would just. It got to a point that as the older I got, the more I would say it, and I'd kind of say it just to fuck with them and be like, y'all argue like y'all still together and shit. Shut up, that shit ain't funny.
So you think that since you grew up in a situation where it was like that, that's what makes it so easy for you to deal with it, as far as you being a blended, a co-parent? Do you think that's what makes co-parenting? You've already seen it successfully.
Yeah, I think seeing and having them as the example, I definitely try to make the effort as much as I possibly can. Now, I can say, in all honesty, that the dynamic between me and my son's mother is way different than what theirs was, because she's just not a pleasant person, which is part of the reason we weren't together. Like, basically I would get accused of cheating when it's like, no, you're just unpleasant as fuck, and I don't want to come home to someone with a shitty attitude all the time. I'm not out cheating. I'm just sitting in the car like, I got to go on this motherfucker at some point in time. So I don't like the fact that it's that dynamic between us, when I seen this example and was like, I want to gravitate more towards that. And so I do as much as I possibly can on my part to kind of keep that same dynamic going. So my son can see, like, I don't want you to feel like me and your mother hate one another. We don't go well together. Mm-hmm. But when it's all said and done, we are still going to come together to figure out what it is you need. Yeah.
Mine's toxic. Mine's toxic as shit. I'm setting a toxic ass independent. I don't know what I'm doing with mine. Like when you said everybody's going to mess their kids up somehow, I think I'm going to set this toxic ass standard of independence, because my kids have seen me do so much by myself, and it's like I carry so much that they believe
that I can do it too. They have zero problem with ever doing it by themselves.
So you
and so
have
with,
all girls, right?
I have 2 girls.
2 girls.
Yep, 2
Okay.
girls. And I have 2 sons. That's through marriage. And I don't really get to spend as much time with them, but they mamas is...
I totally
I
get it.
know, right?
So,
See?
unfortunately, I see it already where it's going to be lopsided. It's going to be very, very lopsided because the support system right now that's on the girls is not behind the boys. Like it's going to be a problem. So when they get older, that's where we're going to start seeing a lot of these problems come in. Like right now, one of my sons has behavioral concerns because his mama, the main person who needs to be driving his behavior right now, is a fuck person. And we're going to talk about her later because her mama asked me to. I'm saying, I'm like, that's the funny part. I talked to her mama, and her mom actually asked me to make her an example on this show as what to discuss when you've done everything the right way, but for some reason you still end up raising a fuck person, and she asked me to talk about it, so we will. But all that to say, my son, because of the fact that he has that influence, there's nothing that I can do as a parent. You know what I'm saying? That I don't have enough influence in his life. I don't have enough time. There's only so much that I can do when his main influence is not doing what she's supposed to do. So he's going to be a problem in these streets and in society. And your son or daughter is about to come up across this child, and it's going to be a problem.
It'd be that part.
For sure.
And I told my kids what I won't be is the mother of a man who is fucking up somebody else's daughter. Because I've been that woman. And I blamed his mom a lot. Like, you not doing nothing. You are the problem.
Is it so? Is it that's deep? Is it the mom's problem? If your son is in the comments, let us know. Chime in. If your child is violent towards other people, and is that your fault? She says.
I feel like it was his upbringing. He had free reign to do whatever, and he could literally murder a person in front of his mom. And at the time, she would be like, "Nope, my son didn't do that." Like, she would just bail him out. And I'm like, this is going to cause a problem. So because of, experiencing this, having boys, I was a single mother of 4 boys. And there was no male role model. Like, he was the male role model for 5 years. And I told my sons every day, I refuse to let you be like this man. If you were ever like him, I'll fuck your life up. Because you not about to do somebody else's daughter like this. Mm-hmm. And his mom would just be like, no, that's not happening. Like, he would literally be texting me threatening messages from her phone. And she's like, but he doesn't have my phone. But he clearly does. And it's like, stop condoning. And then after a while, once things were too late and he's already a grown-ass man, then it's like, okay, I can't deal with this. No, it's too late. You've already created this narrative that you will support all of his bullshit. So in that case, that is definitely the parent to blame. And you can't correct it after that. It's like, it is what it is at this point. There's no saying, okay, no, I need to be your parent. On my end, I have a son who started acting like him. And I'm like, nope, calling you out on your shit because this is somebody's daughter. You have a daughter. Do you want somebody else to treat her like this? I'm going to call you out. I'm not about to let you do somebody's daughter like this. So I was on her side, but then she turned into a dumbass. She was already a dumbass, but things got worse. And I'm like, bitch, I am trying to help you. Like, yes, this is my son and I love him, but I'm not going to condone fuck shit. I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh no, that's my son. He's just doing this because no, you do when you make excuses for your kid doing dumb shit, and it don't matter what the excuse is. Oh, well, I didn't know. How do you not know? I'm nosy as hell. I'm on all my kids' social medias. I'm all up in their business. And they're grown.
I hate the parents actually who chime in and be on the same fuck shit as their kids.
Yes.
Social media right now, you got grown-ups that's hollering at 20-year-olds. Like it's 20-year-olds funking talking about they gonna fight somebody at the club. And you got somebody my age's mama in the thing talking about how she pulling up and understand I'm still with this. And it's like, are you in your 60? Are you a 60-year-old woman out here talking about what you pulling up on and that you about that life? And are you really about that life at 60? Is this what we're doing? This is
like, why you not knitting?
Definitely blame the parents.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you out here 60 years old talking about pulling up on somebody because your child is out here funking, because they child is out here funking.
I saw a live of some kids.
3 generations of bullshit.
Toting guns, talking about riding down on their ops. Mind you, a few of them was trying to beat murder cases, and they're on live. And I'm like, I know y'all wasn't raised like this. And the main kid, his mom, is in the comments amping it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
let them know how this family be, boo.
yes. I'm like,
let them know we don't be playing on this.
So the
this
kids
family.
that I knew, I'm like, if y'all don't get y'all's black asses off of here, because I know y'all wasn't raised like this. They was like, oh shit, such and such's mom's on here. Let's get off. But what baffled me is the mama. Like, how old are you? I mean, but really doesn't matter how old you are. Like, if you were a parent.
It doesn't. And I was like, and that's what I said. It'd be somebody funking, and it'd be the baby on there, which makes sense. They in high school. These high school kids are supposed to be on social media going back and forth. It's what they do. In our age, we didn't have phones and shit and internet banging, so we took care of our stuff face to face. We didn't have these privileges. But best believe, as soon as we got Sky pagers, and as soon as we got some kind of way, we was typing boobless in niggas' pagers and shit just to say some kind of fuck shit to people and some kind of way to communicate when we could do it. So
we all know the code on the pager to one less hoe.
That part.
So there's
that part.
If you sent somebody's pager one less hoe, that means it was going
down.
The minute you saw them. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
So we did that. So I get it. That's what they're gonna do with technology wise. The problem is that if my daughter decided that for whatever reason, first of all, I'm gonna teach my daughter not to engage with people like this on social media because it's not worth her time. I'm gonna teach my child she's above that. So yes, you're correct. It starts at home. So if your child is out there thinking that it's cool to internet bang, they're gonna be the same adults out there internet banging, and they're gonna be the ones getting their ass beat for real. Because people don't be playing like that in real life. And that's a consequence I let my daughter know. Don't be out there saying anything on that internet that you're not ready to catch face to face. Because if this person ever comes to you face to face, you be ready because you ain't gonna have no keyboard. There's nothing between you guys but space and opportunity. So, but yeah, I just the adults. If you an adult, my daughter's banging, all that to say was, what the fuck do I look like jumping on there antagonizing the situation as a grown ass person
to a child?
And then what if my mama get on there too? To my hell yeah, and my grandma's still alive, so she up on there. To my hell yeah,
got the whole family.
Just hell yeah, pull up.
But that's how it be. I've seen grandmas like condoning, like, ma'am.
And then they be the first one, like so and so. And if something happens, and something actually happens violent wise, or the house gets shot up, and they try to actually tell the community,
they're gonna be the main ones on there. When is this gonna stop?
Right, what is going on? And we are
what's going on with our
he
teens?
was such a good person, and we don't know what's going on. I'm like, your whole family bangs, like actively. The whole family bangs, like, so.
I purposely try to keep my son away from social media because I just know the way he reacts to people talking shit on Xbox. I'm like, yeah, you're not ready for social media. He gonna
tear your couch up next.
Yeah, he gonna set my house on fire fucking around with social media. I'm like, dude, you think that's bad? Imagine being in most of us guys can imagine being in a Call of Duty chat room. And you getting called nigger the whole time. And you're just like, damn, this little motherfucker's crazy. But I'm like, yeah, you're not ready for stuff like that. You're not ready for unsolicited opinions and critique from people that you don't know, who don't know you, don't know what's going on in your world. They just saw some shit. And, we live in a time right now as far as social media goes. Everybody's on this thing where the first thing they want to do is tell you what they don't like about what you said or what they don't like about what video you posted or anything like that. So mentally, I know he's not in that headspace. And as a parent, I know I'm not in that headspace because if he do a TikTok and some adults say something crazy to you, now I look crazy because I'm on TikTok like, motherfucker, I'll kill you. Don't you ever say? So I don't want to be that guy. And then and my mother would probably follow suit, but she's more of a like, I want to find out who this person is and what their number is so I can tell them directly, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
That's me.
So,
I mean,
I just know I'm not ready for that thing mentally. So
I don't know. Like I've seen what I'm capable of. I've seen myself as a parent. Like I've seen somebody try to, and I say try to bully my child. Because one, I instill in her so much in herself that it's so hard. You can't bully her like you can't bully me. Like I wish you would try. She's gonna shoot on you, like not shoot you, shoot on you. We believe in humor in my family. We believe in jokes. Man,
Yes.
say I'll have somebody clowning on you for it hurts way worse, worse. Like people who grew up with me know. I'm like I definitely had hands, but I'm gonna have that mouthpiece first. I got so much to say about you, and then most people wanted to fight me because they were so upset. Man, they were so upset. Like I can change my situation because we grew up it was tough. My mom wasn't around. There was things going on, so I had to be ready for it. I'm like, okay, so you could bag on me, but you best be ready, because
those be the best fights, though.
Man, and they ready to cry because I can change my situation, but you can't change your face. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they ready to cry. They ready to cry like this motherfucker here.
I'll never forget the guy's name, Anthony Cannon. We joke about it now because we 40. We're not gonna fight about some shit we did in like the 6th grade, but what we call it, ranking, snapping, whatever. And I was just getting his ass, and he did the cardinal sin of ranking. Your mom's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
When a nigga done had enough of you ranking on him, fuck you, your mom's a bitch. What? How we go from yana to yana? So, he jump up, he ready to fight and all that shit, and he go to back up a little bit and tripped on something, and I got this motherfucker now, and leaped on his ass. And that never happened. And now we talk about it now, and he's like, man, remember that one time you had whooped my ass in wood shop? And I'm like, this is a weird conversation, but yeah, I remember, I guess.
I think everything needs to get back to just outright physical violence. I think
outright physical violence.
I think a lot of things in this earth, but I think everything will kind of be a little bit better. I think there'll be a lot less shootings. There'll be a lot less things going on, and people really did just go ahead and have to resort to physical violence. There would not be as much internet violence if you knew that you jumping on the internet to say anything about somebody is going to result in you having to say the same shit you said face to face. I promise you, people would not be saying as much shit as they be saying. It would be a totally different world if you were actually had to be accountable for the things that came out of your mouth. So I wish.
I got an internet threat from a guy. It was hilarious. He now mind you, this is somebody that was dealing with one of my siblings, and he, you should pull up. You said you was gonna beat my ass, and mind you, I was gonna whoop his ass for all of his conduct, but I started naming off all these reasons and was like, are you sure? Because I'm not a pull-up guy. I was born in the on-site era. On-site means when I saw you, shit was going down. Pulling up means I am bringing a gun because I'm going back home.
Right.
And I'm going to say that because I'm
I got time to plan.
Yeah,
my anger.
Pull up some good shit.
Come to plan.
Come to me. Like, come to you.
You sure? Like,
pull up while I wait on you to pull up to my shit.
I'm going to sit here and wait on your ass. So either I'm going to shoot at you or we're going to have a shootout. No. Just be ready when you see me somewhere. Right. I'm assuming we going to fight when I see you.
So do you blame his parents for his upbringing? The dude, the dude as a person and the way he acts, do you blame his parents for the way he acts?
Yeah, because I know who his daddy is. And when I found out who his daddy is, I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to his pops, because I know which state he was from and all that. But to me, it's like, oh, that makes sense why you think you tough, but you not as, from what I remember, you not as tough as your daddy was. Your dad was that nigga. You are not that guy.
There are lots of people who think that they're tough by association. And that is the funny thing. Like, just because your parent was about that life does not automatically make you about that life.
Exactly.
So don't let your parents' toughness get your ass whooped.
Same part. See, that's and great. That gets us into the double standard. Is one that actually is a great segue, because people like Sugar. I'm with Sugar Hill, right when he said, "You ain't gonna be shit because I ain't shit." Yeah, I believe that. I believe that you people out there, if you ain't shit, your child ain't gonna be shit either, because you are giving them a terrible ass example on what is okay, and they are looking at that as you. And they're still going to always look at their guardian, their parents, or whoever to strive to at least be that. Some people are okay with that because they'll be like, well, my mama was like this and I came out cool, because they don't realize they didn't come out cool. Like,
they don't realize their parents ain't shit.
That's just like the same way, the same people that are the helmet people The same way the people that were in a helmet
fists, nigga.
when you grew up in a room sequestered to themselves are out in society running around and you can't tell them, are the same way you can't tell the people who had these jacked up ass parents and jacked up upbringings as far as I'm concerned. So it's just like, there's no warning. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no warning anymore. And yeah.
So do you think it's like a nature versus nurture situation? Because I feel like
that's a damn good question.
That question is so broad, I feel like. And as a psych major, it's always been, is that definite? Because I grew up around drug addicts and alcoholics. And to me, I'm like, I don't want to be either of those.
Right.
So the way that it's always perceived is my nature would suggest that I would follow suit. Mm-hmm. I had kids very young, so the first thing everyone thought is, oh, she has a kid at 13. She's going to automatically be like her mother. But I was nothing like her, nothing at all. I had the choice. Even as a kid, I'm like, I knew consequences. I knew that I had the choice to either do some dumb shit and be a shit parent or make decisions that wasn't fun, because who don't want to have fun? But at the end of the day, it's like, you got to think about consequences. So I feel like you can blame nature versus nurture, but at the same time, where does common sense come in?
I don't know. It's a double standard because people
it's not. I'm learning this a lot more as I get older.
People like to take credit. And they want to be proud for their kids and the way they raised them, and they got that from home, and they got that from me, and they got it in our bloodline, and it's in our genes, and etc. When it's great accomplishments. Mm-hmm. However, the exact same home and the exact same nurturing and the exact same thing could have the same kids that go out and they being bullies to other kids when they go out. They're fighting. They're putting their hands on women. They're being very disrespectful in society. They're the ones who are shooting up parties. They're the ones who are fighting at clubs. You know what I mean? And it's like, but you don't want to take responsibility for that. You don't want to take accountability for the exact same upbringing that produced that child. Right. And so, I don't know. Like I don't understand. Like how do you take credit for the good if you can't take credit for the bad? Like either you're responsible for your children's behavior or you're not.
I feel like when the problem arises when they're doing absolutely nothing. Now, it's different if you've tried everything. I feel like the mental health of the young kids right now is so fucked up. And in the Black community, going to get mental health help is taboo. It's not something that is readily talked about. It's just like, oh, you'll get over it. Or, life will work itself out. And then you got this kid who was troubled and didn't address the mental health issues, and the parent ignored clear signs of Jeffrey Dahmer, and now you got an adult who is serial killing people, and it's like, well, I didn't know what to do. And it's like, no, had you addressed it and at least tried, at least made some effort to, correct this course, because kids are going to be kids. And they're going to do stupid shit, but if they keep going to where the parents just looking the other way, then they're going to become adults, and there's no coming back from that. Ooh, so if you address it and you like, okay, I tried, I got you help.
We gotta go to take a break soon. But she said 3 things that want to make me cover this really quickly before we go on break. She said mental health. She said address, and she said becoming adults. Y'all, parents, I think prom season just passed, and I blame you parents for a lot of the bullshit that we saw at prom. Like a lot of the stuff where there were a lot of children hurt during prom. Actually, I do blame a lot of the parents because they treated it like an entire fashion show instead of the seriousness of the night and actually reminding them that this is one of the nights that kids, and that's the season that kids actually get killed the most. Same way that we are, as adults, are warned about 4th of July and, the holidays, and that people are going to be drinking and driving and doing the most. And the parents didn't focus on that. They were so worried about having their kids jump into fancy cars and look fancy that they focused on that instead. So I think that's jacked up. But I want to talk about the parents
What in the Chicago
who are
step
letting
is
their
going on
children
here?
go to prom. What the fuck? Like the prom dresses.
Two of them. It was
prom. So parents typically help their daughters and they help their sons get ready for prom.
It's a rite of passage.
It is a rite of passage.
That you want to be proud of.
Should these parents have allowed? Is this something the parents help them do?
Nope, they were just like, "Oh, you got that? Okay, okay, here, honey."
Should the parents have allowed their children to go to prom?
I feel like that is an everyday situation. So the parent was just like,
What in
shit.
the hell is going on there?
What in the streetwalker Kovacs buying and selling is going on there? Because that's what that looks like to me.
My prom date could not have shown up to my parents, one of my parents' house. Either one. They couldn't have shown up to the house, had that shit on, and then I'm like, yeah, y'all, I'm out. They'd have been like, come here, let me talk to you.
If my kids brought a prom date home like that, I'd be like, you is not going.
See?
No. Either you take her home and figure out something else for her to wear. I'm clowning. I don't care about hurting feelings. I'm clowning. Little girl, why is what I would say. Because, the men don't look bad, but why would you want to go out?
The men don't look bad?
That one that had the 2 colors on there, he need his ass.
I was going to say, the men don't look bad. This one here.
That nigga looks like he should be on the front of a No Limit album cover.
A No Limit album?
Yes. The cane should have diamonds. It should be a big false 3D grapple pick ass house. It should be some pit bulls in the front with a big ass diamond thing.
I know if it was done differently, I know people who would support their son doing this.
I thought that was a costume party when I first saw this. I thought they was going to a Halloween party.
It's people that I know who would probably support their child doing this.
Yeah.
They would actually think
look cute.
They would think it's really, really cute, and they would think it's special that he dressed to match both dates.
Them is hoes in training.
They are.
Who would be okay with their daughter going out as a hoe in training? That is the problem. And then it's like, oh, my baby got sex trafficked. What is the world coming to? You condoned it when you let her go to prom as a hoe in training.
All I'm saying is, I saw American Pimp and went to prom in the same year. I ain't dressed like that, though. I wore a nice 3-piece suit. Shit was slim. I was looking right.
You didn't have no hoes in training?
I ain't had no hoes in training. My prom date had on a nice, flowing, beautiful red dress with the long black gloves. It was fancy that night.
My husband went to prom with a hoe in training. I don't know if his mama seen her outfit, but...
I would no longer talk about
my mother's giving us the blues about all of
There's
that.
nothing wrong with her outfit. She just absolutely turned out to be a hoe at the end of the day.
Oh. Well, we in high school. We not trying to prom night we might be trying to fall in love. It's like when my friend was like, I wouldn't fuck with a girl because she's a hoe. And I'm like, that's exactly why, bro. I'm like 15, I'm 16. And her parents are never home. I don't want to hear this love shit.
Jesus Christ. See, and parents, these are the men that you guys raised. And these are the reason that the Colorado dating pool has pee in it. We're going to take a break on the What Do I Know podcast. We're going to come back to talk about some other things that go on and really kind of dig deeper into why we think it's parents' fault that their kids are doing certain things. And we are going to get into specifics. I know y'all going to say it's circumstantial, it's situational. We're going to get into those situations a little deeper because, yes, guys, if your children are messing up, you did not instill something in them that made them do what they're doing, especially if it's habitual. So come back, we're going to talk about
that
it.
part.
Mental health, man. Let's start with, us as men, and we taught that we ain't supposed to get our emotions out or be able to keep, talk stuff out. We're taught to keep everything in, or we feel like it's proper to hold stresses in and hold different things that's going on with us in. We need to talk about that stuff. We need to find friends, find loved ones, find people to let them know like what's actually going on, what we feeling. Your feelings are real. You know what I mean? It's important that we know and we're in control of those emotions and feelings, and we're able to actually talk it out with someone. So don't feel like to be a man, you gotta be tough. You gotta hold it in. It's not okay to cry. Nah, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. That's the biggest thing.
Once we are at a place where we can actually unite and co-create, we are limitless. We are the most powerful source on the planet. And we must really tie into our innate nature and our natural ability to lead. We are the kings and queens of the planet.
Yeah, I want to say save every dollar that you can as early as you can so that you can buy a house when you get out of high school. That's going to be extremely valuable for you with equity and things like that, and open up doors of opportunity to do whatever you want instead of having to answer to anybody else. Your job is not to make sure everybody else is happy or comfortable. It's to make sure that you're okay in everything that you do and put yourself first, because then you can take care of the people that you care about the most.
Y'all, welcome back to the What Do I Know podcast. We are possibly live, but we don't have a monitor, so I don't know. Anywho, yeah, Dre, I don't know. Let us know if we are live. The monitor's out back here. But anyways, where are we at? Really? I can't hear anything she's saying. But yeah, I don't know. Anywho, so but anyways, back second half of the show, guys. We were talking about y'all's kids and what they do. I'm gonna say y'all's kids because my kids ain't doing this shit, guys. My kids are not out to have problems or cause anything. Like, I'm pretty positive of that, because again, my kids are raised with a decent amount of fear. They have the fear, not even the fear of God. Like, cause like, I grew up in the church, but I really don't do the church thing like that anymore. They fear me. They fear the consequences of me. They fear my disappointment. They fear the things of life that could actually, the real life things that come from messed up decisions that they make. So I'm positive that my kids are not like that. And besides that, I'm Ruby Nails, the granddaughter, and I'll beat the shit out of my kids if I need to. Like, I'm not that parent. I'm not arguing with my children. I'm not going to try to convince them. The cameras aren't on, right?
I mean, it's live, but
Oh, okay.
I can't say that I can guarantee that my kids ain't like that. I could just say that if I find out that they are, then they know that I will fuck their life up. I don't care how old they are. But they don't have the chance for me to not know, because I'm all up in their business. All up in it.
Yeah, this is true. I think privacy is a huge problem. Parents that give their kids too much privacy. They boundaries are like, like, I don't know. Like, I get boundaries, but I think some parents give their kids too much space and allow them to do entirely too much in the name of, again, trying to earn your child's respect as their friend instead of as the parent. So I don't go